Hey, how's it going, guys? My name's ᴍᴏʀᴇ, and today I have a guide for you on Sievert. We're going to be checking out the industrial map, and we're going to take a walkthrough of it, and I'm going to show you the different parts and what is different about the map compared to the other ones, and what you should be looking out for and all that stuff. I'm doing this guide in a little bit of a different style. Let me know if you're into it. I'm using a face cam for this one, and I'm also just going to be doing this in kind of a more casual style than I usually do. Just a heads up, I'm going to be using debug mode for this because it's just easier on me. So starting off with like the very basics of going to industrial, if you're new to the game, go down to the conductor. This is the guy that you talk to when you want to go to a map. These are all your maps, and industrial is this one on the right on the top row. So select that square and then click go, and it'll take you to industrial. So this is industrial. This is the map that you'll be looking at when you're playing this one. The big gimmick with industrial is that the overall layout of the map, like how it's like sectioned or whatever, doesn't really change with the RNG. Kind of like think forest or makeshift. Those maps change their entire shape and how they're shaped and where a lot of points of interest are laid out every single time you go in. This one, the structure of it stays like relatively the same. The big thing that changes with industrial is that there's a couple of blocks in here that actually get swapped out and change and are randomized based on, you know, just the RNG. So down here where the train track is and all this green space, that always stays the same. Same with the green space on the left, and same with the green space on the top and the port area. And these two squares are always going to be container city squares, which I'll get to in a minute. This one here is always going to be the oil factory. We'll check that out in a minute as well. And then these two down here, these are the ones that are kind of interchangeable, and they change with the RNG every time you come into this map. So starting off with this block here, I am just gonna like fly around in debug mode to make it easier for myself and be able to show you guys stuff a little easier. This area is usually populated by ghouls. There's sometimes an infestation here, not always, and there's lots of warehouses around. Obviously, in the industrial zone, there's going to be lots of warehouses, and typically inside the warehouses, you'll find toolboxes, filing cabinets, electronics boxes, and things like that. These down here are little guard houses, and they can have filing cabinets or vending machines in them if you need a little bit of food. Looks like the hunter is taking care of the infestation for us. The RNG can put different things here. It can put Green Army soldiers or Crimson Corporation soldiers. Like if we go up the road this way, looks like we have lots of monsters that spawned in on this one, but I have seen like Green Army soldiers, bandits, and Crimson Corporation populate this road many times before. So make sure you keep that in mind when you're like going up and down this block, because lots of different things can spawn here. And we have more warehouses. These are going to be full of toolboxes and filing cabinets. This one, for example, this one is always going to have one toolbox in the back corner. This one here is always going to have either bandits or spiders, and it's going to have filing cabinets in the top and a toolbox in the bottom. So let's see what we have in this one. This one we have bandits. There's a toolbox right there. I think sometimes the toolbox is down here. Other times maybe up there. I might be misremembering, but this one has spiders. There, watch out for those. And we got way more filing cabinets in this one. That's really good. There we go. There's the toolbox on the bottom. This warehouse is larger, and it can have either bandits, monsters, or hunters, or all of them at the same time. So in this one, there's usually bandits up here fighting with... Okay, there's a hunter up there. Looks like we got bandits and maybe monsters? Okay, looks like we have bandits and hunters in here. So it's in kind of a little bit of a U shape with a bathroom and a break room on the bottom. Sorry, not filing cabinets. Vending machines can spawn over there, or a toolbox or a bag, I believe, like a green loot bag can spawn right there. Up here, we can have ammo boxes or attachment boxes. Usually spawns right at the very top. And on the other side, I'm just going to float over here to make it easy on myself. We can have electronics boxes and toolboxes. Oh, missed you somehow. We can have like electronics boxes, attachment boxes, and there's always going to be filing cabinets at the very top. This is a park, this little green area. And honestly, the parks, they don't have much going on in them. Sometimes there can be, I think there can be like loot bags or med boxes or something like that. These guys are going absolutely insane. But overall, they're not really worth going into and looting, in my opinion. Sometimes there can be radiation in there as well, like radiation fields with lots of crystals and things, but I just pass on them. This box here can have like a really wide variety of enemies in it. Oh, goddamn. Get out of here, man. I'm trying to record a video. We got lots of hunters. Typically, I find it's bandits. There's usually a lot of bandits here. These guys will spawn in front of this warehouse. And then if we go up here, I'll find hunters, sometimes bandits up here, sometimes monsters. The RNG is like pretty wild on this map. It'll spawn in lots of different enemies in lots of different places. We got more guardhouses with potentially more filing cabinets and vending machines, and we got a couple more warehouses as well. We go into these warehouses. Looks like that's another tool one. Down here, these white warehouses, or these like metal warehouses with like metal siding or whatever, these have a bunch of like generic looking shelving in them, and they will have filing cabinets and or toolboxes at the very top, and sometimes an electronics box on the side, like in the shelving units here. And they'll often have a lot of rats, so watch out for the rats. We got filing cabinets up here, and looks like we got a med bag over there. Do we have an electronics box? Yes, we do. A little bit of variety of loot in this one, which is kind of nice, but not a whole lot of it. Now this square here, this can also have like a really wide variety of enemies in it. There's lots of warehouses though. Down here on the bottom, we'll have a couple of warehouses to go into, plus a med bag and electronics box. That's typically what spawns down here, and I can see another a toolbox right there. You can go in from either the right or the left side. If you go in on the right side, don't forget that there can be some loot containers down here that spawn in this little like offshoot area. It can happen, sometimes it doesn't. It's all RNG dependent. So it looks like this time we have some blinks, we have some monsters, and Crimson Corporation on the other side. We have another white warehouse up here. There can be like toolboxes and electronics boxes, things like that, hidden in between the trucks, so keep an eye out for those. A lot of the time up here, I'll find blinks. There's blinks hanging out and monsters, just ghouls and things like that. But you can see on the right side, we have another warehouse. On the left side, there's going to be a warehouse as well to go into. We got Green Army patrolling around as well. I think that's just a random patrol. And then we have another guardhouse up top. We have a med bag, toolboxes, so like a wide variety of stuff, a lot of wide variety of enemies and loot just laying around. This is a really good place to go if you're looking for just kind of like a ton of like various loot. This block here is also going to have like a really wide variety of loot. That's kind of like what these are best for, honestly. In this one, you have a road that kind of like goes in a square. It'll go up and around like that. Down here, we have some blinks, and we have an anomaly that's just kind of sitting there. We have a park, another park, a lot of radiation in this one this time. Again, not like a whole lot going on. You can go in and get the crystals if you like, but the parks are generally like pretty empty. Up here, we have more warehouses. This one is, yeah, this is the big one with lots of like rats and stuff. Up here, we have an infestation and lots of monsters spawning in, and lots more warehouses. There's one over here, and you can actually go up and around on the pavement. There's more blinks up there. If you need blink claws are a fairly good value if you need money. Up here in the top, there's going to be more warehouses, toolboxes, things of that nature. Now that's it really for these two spaces down here. These are the ones that kind of trade out, and like based on the RNG, they just swap out like different blocks every raid. Those are the ones that are more randomized. But these three here, this one on the bottom left, the top left, and the top right, this one here, these ones stay pretty much the same. These two can change a little bit, but this one is always the same. It's always going to stay the same. It's never going to change. There's a couple different versions. You can't actually see what's going on. I mean, I can see all the NPCs because I'm in debug mode, but you can't see on the map like what kind it is. There's two different kinds of container city blocks. This one is the less interesting one. This one, there's like some pathways going through. There's a couple of toolboxes and electronics boxes. The RNG can make a bunch of different enemies spawn here. It can be Green Army bandits, Crimson Corporation, or monsters. Basically any kind of monster, usually blinks. Blinks spawn in here instead of ghouls. But yeah, we got electronics boxes, toolboxes, a little bit of radiation. Radiation can spawn in here as well, so be careful of that. And then there's a way out on the left and the right, and you can kind of go up and around like this. Looks like we got some anomalies on the top here. Kind of the same deal. We've got like a bit of a roundabout going on in the middle, and I think we'll have some toolboxes. Yeah, toolboxes, looks like ammo boxes as well. This can be good for a bit of loot, but I generally stay away from this one. The one that I like to go after is this guy up here. So this next one, this is going to be like a stronghold. I haven't really figured out a name for this one yet, but I guess it's a stronghold for either the bandits, Green Army, Crimson Corporation, or the monsters. There's going to be a lot of enemies here and a lot of loot at the very end of it. So you go in from the bottom, and there's usually going to be like one guard down here, and then there's pathways going up like this. Guards basically throughout, just protecting this place. That's an entrance on the side if you want to go in on the left side. And then you go up and through this place. There's more guards here. This is kind of like a cross intersection where you can get out on both sides again. And then up here past these barriers, this is the interesting part. Come up through here, and then we have this big kind of central area with a lot more enemies. Again, this could be monsters or bandits or crimson or greens or whoever. And then at the top, we have all this loot. We've got safes, ammo boxes, attachment boxes, electronics boxes. So much stuff here to loot. So if you want a lot of loot, you want a lot of guaranteed like gold spawns, ammo attachments, and then of course all the stuff that spawns on the enemies, come to this one. This is a really good place to get a lot of loot. Now, I guess I should mention, like, in between all of these blocks, these are like main connecting roads, and there can be patrols wandering up and down these roads. So there's a Green Army patrol just wandering around. I think I saw a Crimson Corporation up there as well. Hunters can be wandering up and down these roads. Now, this final block, this is the oil factory. This one's always going to be here. It's never going to change places or like be swapped out for RNG. You will have to come here for a quest, but we've got a couple of guardhouses here. The main threat here is blinks. So you go in, there's a dead blink right in the front, but you go in through the guardhouses, and up here we'll have some more small houses. These can have filing cabinets and vending machines in them if you need food. If we go straight up, there's going to be blinks here guarding the entrance to the oil factory itself. So if we go into the oil factory right now, it's going to be dark. So there's no light in there, so make sure you have night vision or a flashlight, I guess. There's a couple of rooms. There's like a locker room here. I think bags or filing cabinets have a chance to spawn in there. We got a loot bag in here in the security room. Up here in the top, this is like a work area. We got filing cabinets, nothing too interesting. The interesting part is over here on the left. We have another room up here. This looks like a break room. We can have vending machines up here. And then we have a door that you need a key to get through down here. So it's a blue key. It's I believe it's called the oil factory personnel key card. It's blue, but you don't actually need it. If you don't have the key, you can go even farther to the left, but there's going to be lots of ghouls. So it's just full of infestations and ghouls and radiation. So be careful of this. Up here is pretty clear. We have a toolbox in the top left. There is a second infestation down below right here. Kill these guys. I'm in debug mode, so I have unlimited ammo. Don't mind me. Pretty easy to get through if you have a decent weapon. And then when you start coming down here, this is where it gets really dangerous because there can be bigs and blinks guarding the loot rooms in the bottom section of this place. So if we just travel down here, we got our blinks. Get off of me, bro. We got some loot. We got some filing cabinets and toolboxes just kind of sitting around, but that's not the main reason why we're here. There's the big. Killed that thing. There's two hallways going down with like intersections in the middle that can have filing cabinets in them. We've got the blinks obviously, and we can loop around to get out through the door at the top as well, but I don't have the key, so it's kind of like a double door system. Uses the same key though. But if we go all the way down to the bottom and then to the right, this is like a break room. And then up here, I'm just going to use my superpowers to get through the door. This first room it's literally called I think it's called Storage Room 1. It has, I think these are attachment boxes. Yeah, these are attachment boxes, and we got toolboxes here, I believe, plus some filing cabinets. And then you need another key, a second like storage room key to get into this one. I'm gonna use my superpowers again. This one has more like electronics boxes and safes, obviously, right here. I think these are electronics boxes. Yeah, electronics boxes are really good. They can spawn some really high value electronics like the game stations or the portable consoles, CPUs, military circuits, things of that nature. And then obviously the safes have cash, gold items, things like that. There are a couple of office buildings on the side here. There's two of them. They are the same layout every time, I think. I actually don't come to these buildings very often because the rest of this map is so plentiful in loot that I never really need to come here. There can be some randomized boxes, filing cabinets, vending machines that spawn here. We got an electronics box up there. There can be enemies that spawn up here in this room. I think I see bandits up there sometimes and ghouls, I believe. Maybe ghouls spawning up there. We go in, we got filing cabinets and an electronics box. I think that'll probably vary a little bit based on RNG. But that's basically what both of these buildings are like. We can check out the other one as well, just to confirm. Yeah. Same type of thing. What kind of enemies do we have in this one? Nothing. No enemies. Same kind of loot. There's nothing really down here that is worth exploring. There can be like hidden toolboxes or electronics boxes, I think. Yeah, there's one right there. But there's nothing else to really do in this bottom section. You can't go inside these little buildings. Yeah, it's just kind of dead space. Now there's two more kind of important areas that you need to know about when you're playing this map. The first one is the port. Entrance through the bottom is right here. Enemies typically spawn up front here. There's usually a hunter kind of hanging around this area, but it looks like he maybe he's dead, or maybe he just didn't spawn. Like 99% of the time there's a hunter just hanging out right here past this gate. But if we go off to the right side here, you will need to come down here for a couple of quests, I believe, or at least one quest. And there can be blinks and bandits and infestations down here. For one of the quests, you need to destroy an infestation that's hanging out here. So it's lots of ghouls. And we have this one little guardhouse here that we got filing cabinets in. Then as we follow the road up and around, there's going to be a lot of radiation in this area. We have another guardhouse. That's vending machines or filing cabinets. Hunters can spawn up here as well at this little T intersection. This is where we're going to start seeing a lot of monsters, guaranteed. They're all kind of like huddled up at the northern part, but you will need to come out, actually walk out to the port here for another quest to plant a GPS marker. And then there's a toolbox at the very end. Bro, leave me alone. Leave me alone. There we go. And then if we come back out and we go north up top, this is where it's going to be crazy, like just lots of monsters. There's usually an infestation here. I can't believe there's no infestation here right now. Sometimes some wolves as well. Looks like we got a hunter down here as well. Not really much in the way of loot, so you can kind of ignore this place for that. There can be, I think I've seen toolboxes in between the containers there. And that's about it for the port. Now the top edge of the map, this is a lot of green space. There's actually train tracks here that don't appear on the map, but there can be electronics boxes and toolboxes just kind of dotted around. It's up to RNG where these things spawn. So you can get some good electronics up here, but you will need to come up here for another quest as well. And for that quest, you're going to have to go all the way to the left side, the left top, and there's going to be a little hut or guardhouse that you need to kind of infiltrate and get an item from. This is it right here, and it always spawns blinks. There's always 3 blinks in there. 1, 2, 3, and the other one's already dead. And you'll need to pick up the item right here. And then once you're ready to get out, extraction points can spawn up here on this top edge, sometimes on this left edge, and often over here as well. There's green space, little thin strip of green space right there, and I see extraction points spawn kind of over here a lot of the time, actually. But yeah, that's going to be it for this guide on the industrial zone and Sievert. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this different style video. I don't usually do like a face cam when I'm making these kinds of videos, but let me know how you liked it in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video or found it interesting or helpful. I hope it does help you on your runs in the industrial zone from now on. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like on it for me. It really helps me out. Subscribe if you want to see more guides. There's a few more maps that I need to do guides on, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.